Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Lowe from Rhythm Flow Radio Livestream, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Opinions. And you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Opinions are not facts. Opinions are just our opinions. It's basically how we feel about a situation. And today we are going to talk about making mistakes. Making mistakes and owning them. But not only making mistakes and owning them, today we're going to talk about it's how you feel about a situation in particular and you owning up to your mistake and people who try to change your mind about the way you feel. You know, people will try to change your mind about the way you feel about a situation. You know, you could see something black in the world and somebody may try to show you that it's blue. But in your opinion, if you see that it's black, that is your opinion. Should you change your mind? Or should you see it the way you see it? You see, we live in a world where people will try to make you see things in a different light. Should they make you change your mind? Or should you stick to the point? So today we're gonna talk about that. And I'm gonna bring in Brother Raymond and opinionated Lorie.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, what's
How's
going on? What's
everybody?
going on?
You
So
know
we got
what?
some.
Before we get into the meat of somebody gave me this topic to talk about. Honey, I wanted to talk about my friend Kyrie Irving so bad. Okay. But somebody gave me this, they sent me this topic to talk about. But before we get into the meat of the topic, let Brother Raymond lead us into prayer and let's find out what everybody did over the weekend before we have our discussion. Okay?
Are y'all ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Heavenly Father, we come to you with open arms. We thanking you in advance for waking us up to live to see another day. Lord, we thank you for our abilities of our limbs. Lord, we thank you for keeping us from all hurt, harm, and danger. Lord, we ask that you continue to protect us, guide our people, guide their minds and their hearts, change them into regulators for Christ. We ask that you continue to bless the homeless, bless the elderly, and bless the least, the lost, and the left behind. We pray all these things, Lord, in your mighty, mighty, magnificent Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Lori, how was your weekend?
Hey, I had a great weekend. I was Friday. I went to an event. A dear friend of mine from 32 years ago. Hopefully, he's listening. Ronald Hayjack invited me and my sister Jacqueline to a wonderful event. It was a 24-hour house. I'm not sure if you all have heard of that. And let me just, I guess I should probably just do a plug for them. Um, let me find it. It was something. The event already happened. It was the ninth annual fundraiser for homeless veterans. So a
Oh,
very
Mm,
worthy cause. So it'll be
that was
next year.
good.
They'll be doing that. And yeah, it's a black tie event. It had some really
wait, let Raymond turn one of his tablets off because he's getting that echo and it's coming.
What the hell?
We'll have both of them on. Okay. He's turned one of them off. He's got to decide which one he's going to use.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so yeah, really, it was in McCook, Illinois. Really nice event. Wonderful music, beautiful cause.
Mhm.
That I know we have spoken about homelessness and vets and different things on the show.
Mhm.
So definitely a worthy cause. So when it comes around next year, I'll make sure I let everyone know. So they'll have
Mhm.
an opportunity to buy tickets for that. But nope, that's what I did on that was Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, just preparing for my trip. I'm going to Ghana on
Oh
Thursday.
yes, I remember you talking about that. Yes.
Yeah. So as each day goes by, I'm getting more and more excited. So
Hmm.
should be a fantastic trip.
All right. Well, I had a good weekend. Basically, I'm kind of a like a homebody if I don't have anything planned. But this weekend I went. I'm like more like family. So this
Okay.
weekend I went out to my niece's house and like my niece is a health person. She's in the medical field.
Okay.
So we do a lot of things together. And right now she's in the process of teaching me how to make plant-based milk.
Oh,
Okay,
wonderful.
so
Like oat milk, almond milk, stuff like
oat
that.
milk, coconut milk, all
Oh,
kind of.
wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
we made milk and we cooked. We cooked my favorite greens. Um,
Ooh,
yes,
collards, or did you mustard, turnip, spinach?
no, we do a slick leaf, and then we do this.
And what's slick leaf?
It's
Is that
slick
a
leaf
type of
mustard.
mustard?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it, but it's not like the regular mustard.
Okay, so not the curly
It's
one.
a little different. And then we used I think it's called a canto kale, which is a curly kale. It's not the curly kale. It's more of a bumpy kind of kale, and
Okay.
it's real long. And then we use Swiss chard, and
Oh,
we
nice.
mix that together, and we use turkey tails and turkey neck
Oh, that sounds so
smoked.
fancy.
Yeah, smoked because you don't have to use any seasoning. The
Okay.
smoked turkey tail and the smoked turkey
Or
neck
no salt or anything.
is
Really?
no, you don't need no salt, no pepper, you need nothing.
Okay.
Just your greens and those turkey tails and a few turkey necks in there. And that's all the seasoning that one would need to have a great pot of greens.
Okay.
And she likes to throw a few turnip bottoms in there.
Oh, I
You
love
know,
turnips. Yes.
yeah.
A lot
So
of people don't like them.
we
They say, "Oh,
did
they're so
that,
bitter," but
and
I like 'em.
then I want to offer my condolences to my nephew, who is my nephew by marriage, and just last month he lost one sister, and while I was there yesterday, he got a phone call that he lost another sister.
Oh, I'm so sorry
And
to hear that. That's
yeah, it was overwhelming. I had to get up and leave because he had just buried one sister like a few weeks
right.
ago, and then he was sitting there and he gets a phone call that he had
Mm,
lost another sister. So I just I really had to get up and go. I
yeah.
I couldn't sit there. So I kind of left and I came home and kind of messed with me for a while. It was kind of hard for me to go to sleep because it kind of
Yeah,
kept
I can imagine. I can
bothering
imagine.
me.
Yeah.
So that kind of was my weekend.
Yeah.
I
Well,
enjoyed it, up until the
up
end.
until that, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems for some reason, I don't know why, but it seems like this time of year, this is the season for that. Because I know that, well, this is years ago, but I lost both of my parents in 2000 and in 2002, in
Mhm.
October and November, respectively. So these 2 months tend to be kind of a heavy month, but it seems to be that sort of season for that kind of a thing, and it's yeah, it's tough to deal with. But I mean, we find solace in our religion, in our faith, and then also those that are still here and taking comfort in having people near and enjoying them, while they're here and while we're here.
Yeah, it was, I did come home and I found pictures, of the the last Christmas dinner that this particular sister was at. They were real nice pictures.
Wow.
where we all had Christmas dinner and laughing and talking. So I was able to create a reel, add music to it. So I did that this morning. I tried to do it last night, but it just,
A
I don't know, I
tribute.
couldn't get it together. I couldn't coordinate it at all.
No,
But
I
this,
mean that you have to have reaction time, time
yeah, but
to process what has happened.
this morning when I woke up, I felt totally different about it.
Okay.
I guess, Brother Raymond, are you there? I guess he's still trying to get his stuff together.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll send him a text message because we need to know what he did on the weekend too
Yes, we want to know what Brother Raymond
off
did.
before we get off into the. Let me send him a text message. Brother, Professor Dunn, he will not be able to join us this evening. He sent me after he sent me a message that he would not be able to join us. Okay,
Okay.
here's Raymond. Okay, let me get Raymond.
'Cause
Okay,
otherwise,
Raymond.
I was going to see if we could talk about the elections because
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that because that was one of the reasons that that we were talking about the subject because
okay.
of Herschel Walker.
Ah,
Ah,
okay.
because of the statement
Honorable.
that Herschel Walker made and some of the things that I guess I can say the chickens have come home to roost
Yeah. Yes,
with
they
the
Yeah.
abortion situation. But Brother Raymond, we've talked about our weekend. I mean, I guess you missed it.
No,
So
I heard it. I heard it. I was on my big computer. I thought you seen me in the background, but you didn't. So I had to
okay,
switch over back to my
okay,
phone because I ain't got full control of this computer yet, this tablet. But I had a very I went and early voted. Yeah,
good.
because down here in Houston, it's going to be a hell of a vote for the midterm. It's going to be real big. They're trying to get rid of the old governor, and we were talking about the Herschel Walker thing. But for the most part, I'm excited. I was notified yesterday. I think you got it, Katie Lowe. I sent it to you by the Secretary of State, Mr. White. They giving me an award in February at the United Center for all the work that I've done in the past and things of that nature. And then this weekend, we were at the BBD concert, the 90s concert with BBD, Tony,
Oh,
Michael Stokely, and In Vogue. Yeah, so we
that
had
was
a
down there
nice,
in Houston.
yeah, down here in Houston. Yeah,
Okay.
Stars on the Sun. Then they were celebrating the induction of Uncle Larry into the Hall of Fame, and then the Houston Astros, they won the World Series and stuff like that. So it's been very eventful, and it was dark as well because we all know that the rapper Takeoff was killed down here doing a gambling
right,
thing and
right.
things of that nature. But besides that, I'm excited. I got some great news. I talked to the chaplain today, and the chaplain's waiting to meet with me this week, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna see which penitentiary I want to go into first to start speaking. So that's gonna be great as well.
Oh,
It's
that
gonna
is
be huge.
wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's gonna be good. And then just we're gonna be working with a lot of youth in the city of Chicago, helping them become productive members of society and teaching them a trade so that they can be certified. And some can be in a union and some don't have to be in a union. It depends, but we want them to see that they get a certification in their hands. And I'm praying to God that CTA and the city of Chicago give my brother Tyrone Muhammad and the EEC community that grant to patrol the trains. That's up for discussion because they have been doing a marvelous job on the volunteer side, and we can just imagine what it can do if they put some money behind it. Because we have to cut down the crime that's on the trains and on the buses. It's ridiculous,
Absolutely.
ridiculous. And
Yep.
so that's it. And besides that, I'm just excited as always to be on Opinions with you guys and give my damn opinion.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, Raymond, on that. And yeah, keep us posted on which prison it is, and so we can let everybody know. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
wonderful to be able to continue to do your work in that way. It's
Oh,
just
no
so
question. No
needed.
question. Go ahead. No question.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you going to Ghana on us. I can't
Oh,
wait. I
yeah,
had a
we'll post
vision
some
on
pictures.
going. God keeps showing me that I'm building up. I built a school and a pipeline, and that's my goal.
Yep.
To
It's
build a
gonna
school over there, because I got friends in Rwanda,
happen.
Tanzania, Africa, where I got some in Ghana, but I got some in Dominican Republic, and so a lot of places I want to go over there. But God has shown me the vision of us going BSC, going over there, building a school, and creating a pipeline so they can have clean and healthy water. So
Oh, that's
I'm
wonderful.
I'm excited for you going. So you set the path, and I'm gonna follow it.
Cool,
All
cool,
right.
definitely.
Mhm.
Awesome.
All right, Miss Lowe, what's happening?
Ready to get into the meat of the show?
Yes, we are.
Let's do it.
Okay. So the topic of the show is how to admit to your mistake and own it. Now y'all know it is an election year, and I should have pulled up that clip by Pastor Jamal Bryant, and
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
he talks about how they took Herschel Walker from what is it, Texas, and moved him down to Georgia,
Move down to yeah. Yeah.
down to Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay, so they could run him against what's that, Senator Warnock.
I think it was one that correct.
Okay,
Yep,
Correct.
yep.
okay, so how they could run him
Who is
against,
the incumbent now?
right, right.
Right. Right.
So and he said that this is definitely a Trump move.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. Yeah.
now he say he Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant, he said that they don't need a Walker, they need a
Mm-mm.
run.
Right.
So now that they've got Herschel Walker down there and they've got him running, and all of these things have come out, his son has his son has made statements,
Mm-hmm.
and these
Mm-hmm.
women have started to back up these statements.
Mm-hmm. They come with receipts.
Oh, good. Please, honey.
I mean, like
Yeah.
literally receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, not only receipts, girl, they've got cards signed by him. Some of
Yeah.
them pictures. Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at a politician, and the Republicans do stand on family values, strongly on family values.
Right.
So my thing is, how do you make a mistake and own up to it, and you are a political figure? I mean, do I mean, tell me, I don't know. I'm not a political figure. I'm just wondering, do you say, okay, look, these are mistakes I made in life when I was younger, and I'm gonna own up to them? Or do you be like, Barney Fife, and get you a badge and say, well, I am a police?
Yeah.
What do you do? Tell
I mean,
me.
here's my take on it. I think that we it's 2022. I think that as of like 20, let's say starting in 2015, back when Trump was, what did he say? He descended down the golden staircase or whatever. I think that because of Trumpism, he's made people feel comfortable lying, and not because I remember back in the day, remember, I mean, not even that long ago, who was that? Anthony Weiner. Do you remember him? The
Oh,
politician that,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
he exposed himself or he was chatting,
Mhm.
whatever. But anyway, you know, politicians like him and even other, I can't even think of any specific ones, but even on the right and the left, they would own up to their mistakes and admit to it and move on. And sometimes
Mhm.
step aside, you know. I think the last one that actually stepped aside was what's the guy from Minnesota? Used to be on Saturday Night Live many years ago. Al Franken. Al
Oh,
Yes,
breaking.
yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
he probably should have even stepped down, to be honest with you. But he did. He did the right thing. He has values and all that. But I think that because of Trumpism, people they just tell bold-faced lies, and just like this guy is trying to do, and they just keep going on. There's no values, and I think also because of narcissism is really running rampant in our society, where and people that are either clinically or they're on the narcissism spectrum, um they can't admit to being wrong. It's always someone else's fault. They're always the victim. So I think our that kind of attitude is pervasive in our society. So it just seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at it, and that's why I call it politics,
Mm,
um, because the politicians will, they'll trick you. If you listen to it long enough, you'll start to believe their lies,
yeah.
and they'll chant, and you start chanting their lies.
Hmm.
But I feel like, yeah, I mean, if I made a mistake 10, 15, 20 years ago or something of that nature, and I'm running for an office, I'm going to put it out there. Because let me give y'all an example of why it's important. Because me being a returned citizen, and when I wrote my book, it was a lot of heavy criticism about me. But I said, see, the thing about that is a person said, well, how can I believe you? And you was, well, I said, all you got to do is about a book. Everything, my whole life story is in the book. And I told them up front what it was with me, so that when you get the book and when you ask about me, all you gotta do is Google me. I'm an open book. You'll find out. But what politician does is some own up to it. I think Cruz, he did the fake cry. What was the one running for president? Wanted to run for president. He was the head. He was the head of the Republican Party at the time. What was his name? He tried twice. He tried twice. He ran against Obama.
Oh, not McCain. Was it
Not
John McCain?
McCain. McCain that died.
Oh yeah. Goodness, what is
The
his
other guy. The other guy. Well, anyway,
name? Yeah, I'll find out.
he had enough money, enough sense to step aside as well. But um, you know, telling the truth and owning up to it, you learn and you live and you learn, right? So if I made a mistake 15, like I said, 15, 20 years ago, I'm gonna own that. Like, yeah, I got high, yeah, I was homeless, yeah, I was I was a thief, yeah, I was a drug dealer, yeah, I was a gangbanger, yeah. But that was 15, 20 years ago, and now I am doing this prior to that. So I think that especially with the politicians, I think that helps them in a way if they do tell the truth instead of lying. Because if it happened, if anything happened in politics, one thing for sure, they're gonna pull it out there. So if
Mhm.
you don't tell it, they gonna tell it. So you beat them. It's like reverse psychology. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you tell them first before they be able to tell them,
Beat him
so
to
it
the
won't be so much damage to you,
punch. Yep.
and you'll have it out there. But yeah, I mean that's what it is, K. Lowe. Right now, it's like nobody wants to own up to their shit. Nobody wants to own up to the fact that city of Chicago is in dismay. I'm talking about in dismay. I'm talking about there's no mentoring, there's no reducing violence, there's nobody getting in front of nothing.
Free for
Everybody is pointing a finger at everybody else.
No.
And to show you that it's serious, you have over 14 damn seats in the city of Chicago that's going to be vacant. They ain't even trying to run no more.
Yep.
So they're letting you know that's something that's going on because people don't want to own up to this shit. I made a mistake. Okay, could the people forgive me? If you forgive me, then together we can do this,
Yeah.
and leave it at that. But
I think there's something else though with that, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. I know we're not talking about this, but um, I think that also because Lori Lightfoot, I mean, I have my opinion on her, but one thing that I will say is that when she first started, and I think there's not that she necessarily did anything to kind of make this happen, but I just think that because of technology and all this, she kind of called a lot of these aldermen to the carpet. I was actually at the inauguration, and one thing that she said in the inauguration was that all the days of the people lining their pockets and taking advantage of being aldermen and their role and misuse of funds and all that, she basically said the buck stops here. It's over. You're not gonna. It's not
it hasn't stopped.
City council. So here's the thing. Not that it stopped, but it's not as lucrative as it used to be.
It hasn't stopped.
Right. No, I know it has not stopped, but I'm saying it's still not as lucrative as it used to be. So
yes, it is. Let me tell you why.
Well, wait. Let me just say this though.
Go ahead.
Because it's not as lucrative as it used to be. That's why a lot of people are getting out of it. There's nothing in it for them. Let
me tell you, the crooks are still out here. Now I'm going to tell you about a situation that I know with a woman who had she had a problem at her building, and the city inspector came out and wrote her up, and she had to go to court. Now she had to pay a fine, and she had to have this problem corrected.
Yep.
So she's having the problem corrected. The permit has been pulled, and the contractor is doing the work. Do you know the low-down building inspector is trying to line his pocket?
Okay, that's the building inspector. I'm not talking about them.
But I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we know that, but I'm talking about the aldermen, though.
Okay, I'm just telling you that these crooks still work for the city of Chicago, whether they're aldermen, whether they're building inspectors, or whatever. They still work for the city of Chicago, and they're still trying to line their pockets.
Right. No, I totally agree with that.
Not all the time the alderman is trying to line his pocket. See, Lorie, I hate to say this, you don't live in the city. You live in the suburbs.
Oh, but I lived in the city for 30 years.
I live in the city.
No, I understand that, Katie.
I lived in the baby. These clowns are still doing
I lived in the city for over 30 years. And I just moved from there 1 year ago.
I know it, but I'm trying to tell you.
And I'm connected politically, so I understand.
Okay, so.
Wait a minute. This is no disrespect to you. Believe me, it isn't. I just want you to know that they're still doing the same thing that they've been doing. It has nothing to do with Lorie being the mayor.
Okay, but Katie, we're talking about two different things here, though.
No, we're not.
No, but you mentioned
still crooked here.
Right, and they are, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
Katie, she was saying on like the alderman side.
You live in Dallas.
Of the thing.
Okay, let me get you straight.
Yeah, but he just moved in Dallas, though. He's
maybe.
I'm gonna here many years.
I'm gonna get my hero and my shero straight. Now y'all don't live here. Okay.
Right, but I lived in the city for 30 years. I literally just moved there.
So what? Grew up all our life there.
30 years, I'm still here.
And the fact, I mean, I'm politically connected too. I mean, I know people on the inside. So, and I agree with you. There is lots of corruption going on, but the difference though is that with these aldermen, especially now with technology, you have all these cell phones. They're high profile. You're putting a spotlight on these people. So not to say that they're not doing dirty deeds. It's just not as easy as it used to be. Back when you had Goliath, you remember him and Eddie, all these people. They were doing stuff that you didn't have no cell phone cameras and people, social media and people and all this kind of stuff. So you could do whatever you needed to do. But now it's not so easy. So what's in it for them? They're only making I think they make $100,000 a year for a part, which is, I mean, good money. It's a part-time job, but you're not getting the millions of dollars that you used to by getting money under the table. So they said to help.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Hey, what's going on, Professor?
Hey, what's up,
Professor?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right on that, and it's not as lucrative, and I think that's why all them seats have became available now because of that. Because everybody is scheming, trying to get over, and so it's not, and it's just sad, but because I believe that when you take the office, you should take it office until someone beats you.
Right.
If you serve or until you retire somewhere, you step down, but Just to leave it vacant shows a sign of it also shows a sign of guilt to some degree. Like
Mhm.
all of a sudden, you just up and say, "Well, I ain't gonna run no more," because then you dig back and say, "Well, he or she was under investigation a few months ago or last year. So now the heat has come. Now like they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen."
Get out
So
the kitchen.
that's what they're
Yep.
doing. They getting out the kitchen now because that heat is too heavy for them, and they
Yep.
can't take it because upon investigation, it's going to expose their hands, whatever they've been doing or
Yeah.
what they were trying to do. And so I think that's why a lot of them are not running for the office again. I'm telling you, Lorie,
Yeah.
I've had phone calls to me saying, "Hey, Brother Raymond, if you come right now, you can come back and you can get." And I'm saying, "I thank you, but I'll pass on that." But that's how I open the door. That's how wide open the door is. Because I remember a time when I wanted to run for office, and I had so much red tape up against me. But now, the doors, I'm talking about Lorie, is literally wide open,
Yep.
saying, "Hey, come on in." But I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm
It's
good
Y'all
a
over
great
can
here."
think that
opportunity to do
y'all
it.
can think that they're not stealing. Y'all can think that. But
No,
I
no, we're not saying they're
Oh
not
no, we didn't
stealing,
say that
Katie.
though, Cody.
and it's
That's
e-
not
it's
that's not what
listen,
that's not what we
it's
said.
easier for them to steal now with all this technology. I
Well,
mean,
No, it's
yeah.
y'all
harder.
No,
No,
it's
it's
a lot
harder.
listen.
harder.
Let,
You're
let me
exposed.
let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. They got scams going on every day, and these scams are not even in City Hall. Okay, this doggone cell phone right here. There are scams that go on every day. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And
you
we're
don't
not
think
disagreeing with you on that. But you're talking about other positions. We're talking specifically about aldermanic roles. And at the time, I mean, yeah, people have cell phone scams. They're making money. They're not making the kind of money that people used to make, like the Verdoliaks and the Ed Burks and the people like that.
The Duns, Mr. Dunn, them used to
Right.
make
That was the big time money,
big
not no little
cheese,
cell
big
phone
cheese.
scam.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
now they can't
Well,
make
I mean,
there's too much technology, there's too much insight on things and how things work that they can't
no,
make that
no,
kind of
no, no.
money. It's too much exposure. Now they can
Well,
move on
may
to
I
something
say
else,
something?
which a lot of them are. So they just basically take their scam somewhere else,
Well,
right?
no, that's not really the case, and I agree with what both of your insights happen to be, but the world market has opened up a whole lot wider because of the exposure and the money is available from other sources in much greater and larger amounts because you have outside sources from other countries that come over here and people hook up with on the alderman levels and that haven't been available to them before. There are a lot of countries now, even these little country farmers and stuff have gone international in terms of the connections they have with different markets. And so when they start bringing in outside countries and bringing in outside markets, South Africa and other countries that don't have the American government interest at heart anyway, but they have an inroad in this country. In Chicago has been targeted because it has always been Raymond and maybe the target because you all have I say you all, but I'm one of you all, but Chicago has always been the the hallmark city as far as other cities that need to follow Chicago's mark that it was making on the race market when it came down to power. And people probably didn't realize they had that much power up here. But Jesse and them knew about it. So they used it to their advantage in so many ways. But when it comes down to using the advantage, you put yourself out there in the market for sale as well. And so when we have impact on the world voice and we can speak up here, do you notice that there are a lot of killing going on in a lot of places, but Chicago's in the news more than anybody. Any other,
Anybody.
any other city, any other city, they target Chicago. Why? Because Chicago has that potential for speaking and people following along with what they talk about doing in the black persona, in the black mind, and of course the reason being is because people used to dream about coming to Chicago to get free from down south, to get free from Alabama, to get free from Mississippi, to get free from Louisiana. And when they all grouped up here on the south side, west side, and then they called back home and told people how well they were doing. Some of them even lied about it in order to make it look like they were doing better than they were. People used to rent cars to come home so it make it look like they owned Lincolns and Cadillacs or whatever. But they kept that image because they played that image up so well. The world listened. There were people out there looking in other countries. And that's where the money's coming from. That's the dark money they talk about that's coming. And those Ottomans have gotten their fingers in the pie. Now I'm gonna back down.
So I understand that, but what we were talking about, Professor, was how it just opened up all of a sudden, to it's like 14 or maybe even more seats that's going to be vacant, and that's due to the politics that's been going on in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois.
Trump and them are playing. They're playing the character assassination the card. It's all the way through all the elections because, and Biden as well. God bless his soul. But when it comes down to the politics, it ain't really got no differential when it comes down to Democrats and Republicans. They all play the same game. If they can't beat you one way, they'll find a way to get at you. And so Trump has some dirty cards that he can play on people in powerful places. And because he's got those cards, because he probably took some pictures of them in his hotel rooms with the wrong people, and got those pictures and called them and let them know, well, can you go along with my, or are these pictures right here going all of a sudden show up on the page? That's why he's so connected with the social media, and he stays out there in the public eye because he knows that gets him. That trumps him. They give him the trump card, so to speak. And so when it really boils down to it, those aldermen that vacate the spots, I bet somebody contacted every one of them and told them about something that they got on them that they may want to expose or whatever. And so they just hat. We used to say we're gonna get my hat. They get in the hat before they wind up getting snatched.
Well, Trump owns up to his stuff all the time. I mean, he's to the point now he don't even care about it, and he claims that it's false media and things of that nature. And then it's quite a few people that own up to their stuff, and that's the whole thing about it. Are they willing to own up to their stuff? Because at the end of the day, everybody and nobody's perfect. So if you are able to own up to your own stuff, then I feel like you at least deserve a second chance if you're willing to say I messed up or I took the bribe. And back in the day, even with Herschel had 5 or 6 abortions. Had the girls get 5 or 6 abortions almost at one time in a year span, put it like that, and things of that nature. And so that's not the thing.
He has some mental issues, but here's the thing. He could, not to give him any help or anything, but he has a missed opportunity. What he should have done is to admit to the fact that he did give that, and then he could say that he repented, and he would get all the evangelical support saying, "Oh yes, that was wrong, and the Lord has forgiven me for doing that, and I've been forgiven," or something like that. But so I don't know, but I think I question his mental stability. He doesn't seem like, I think he got hit in the head too many times.
No. I mean, he has ultimate faith in Trump's coattail. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are so blinded by the power that Trump is wielding over individuals in whatever manner of extortion that he's using in this country.
Oh yeah,
that they
totally.
are.
He's
He
trying
tried
to be
to tell
Trump.
the truth. He's a liar.
But here's the thing:
That's
he's
correct.
not Trump though.
Pretty
That's
dry.
the thing. He won't get away with
No,
it.
but he feels like he's covered. He feels like
Well,
he's just like that boy that shot those people,
yeah,
and killed them. He went to court and knew in his heart that he was going to get out, and he walked out. And that was
yeah,
a good that told America right there. Well, this man got so much power that you can kill people and get off if he wants you off.
right.
And so when people believe in him like that, then it's very difficult to get their mindset straight when it's already crooked in the first place. When you go through being coached at a predominantly white school, then you are already taught not to be black anymore. All your girlfriends wind up being white. They don't they know you're gonna make that money, so they hook on to you like a bunch of leeches,
Mm.
and they find a way to suck blood and bleed you and that's what Herschel has been a product of. And the other kid that was at Oklahoma did the same thing. They and what they do, they come up to crucial elections like this and try to get the vote. They know that the black vote's gonna pretty well be polarized. But if they can confuse enough of us to get the swing vote coming. See, there are a lot of people that say, well, hell, I'm tired of this. I ain't gonna vote. And so, I'm
Yeah.
tired.
A lot of
That's a
people
big number.
they've given up,
And so,
unfortunately.
if they can get people out of that swing vote to start paying attention to them and coming their way on some issues or whatever. And so the black people tend to be attractive because whether you are realize it or not, when you walk down the street, if people are 1,800 stories above the ground, they can pick out a beautiful black woman at the crowd out of 10,000 people on the ground. And so when that happens, and people tend to want to utilize it and use it to their advantage, and that's what they're doing in politics right now.
They're doing a lot of it.
Mm.
Yes.
They're doing a
And
lot
so
of it right now.
what we have to stop doing, and Raymond, man, I'd be wanting to tell you so much how I admire the way you stand. I mean, we don't do that for each other enough. If we applaud each other, we gotta be gay. If I tell Raymond I love him on the screen,
Right.
somebody want to look in my back, so they sneaking around. But bro, I love you for being strong. And if you ain't got nobody else in your corner at your back, you got me. Okay? And that's my profession. And so whatever I can do to aid your causes, to help get the word out about the projects that you're working on, those are the things we need to do for each other in the house cleaning that we need to do here. Because we can talk about the stuff at large as long as we want to. But if we ain't got our own front door and bedroom floors and kitchen floors clean in our houses, how can we tell somebody about cleaning up there?
You're right.
Yep.
But I was just saying, that's the reason why I was talking about Chicago, because like, no matter where I go, even here, we won. I said, yeah, y'all won, because I'm from Chicago. So the Cubs didn't win and the White Sox didn't win, so I didn't win. Now when the Bulls and all them, they won, then I won. And I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying that's how I carry it. And so a lot of people want to know why I'm so heavy on it, because I said the same thing I'm just echoing off you, Professor. I said, until I can clean up my own house and my own city, then I can't tell you how to clean up yours. They asked me about opinion that something happened down here, and I was like, I have no opinion on it, because at the end of the day, I don't know everything about Houston. I don't know how Texas flows, but I know where I come from, and I know how that flows very well, and the players in there, and that's what I'm saying. With this going on, people need to just own up to their stuff. If you own up to your stuff, okay, I made a mistake, and like I tell them, my favorite passage I use is, I would not allow the wreckage of my past to reflect on my future, nor will I allow you. So if you want to go back there 20, 30 years where Raymond was when he was a crackhead and he was homeless and he was in and out of the penitentiary, you going back there and you can wallow in that long as you want to, because I'm up here now with it.
Right.
And I'm not ashamed of where I come from, because where I came from helped shape me to where I am today. You know, and so you can use that all you want to, but I won't allow it to affect me. And so with the politicians, I feel like they should be doing the same, taking that same approach. As, okay, yeah, I did that. I mean, ain't nothing I can do to undo that. But going forward, this is what I make a promise to the people.
Yeah, what they
use
really
this
need
fuel
to
as
do.
inspiration for people. You know,
what
something
they need
aspirational.
Right.
Yeah, what they need to do is basically do some self-checking. You know, in politics, we often associate politics with lying anyway. That when you say, you know, I majored in political science, they say you're a big liar. I mean, you went to law school, you're a liar. But what people have to do is if they're going to put themselves out there and act as patrons or spokespersons for the public, they have to check, because all of us have sinned in some kind of way. And so what we need to do, every building that they build has a cornerstone somewhere in it. You know, that's the stone with all the secrets and everything about the organizations that formed the building.
Right.
In that cornerstone, everybody needs to check the cornerstone before they go out and get ready to go into public office. And so, whatever you have in there, if I was going to run for office, the first thing I would get up and do and say, let me tell y'all something. I did this in the cotton field. I had 85 girlfriends. Some of them still pissed off with me, so they might come and say, I got David by them, and so on and so forth. Let me give y'all a list of names. You can go by the check. This is what I want you to check on me. But that's what I want you to do also know is I'm a changed man. And so therefore, today, I'm coming for y'all. I'm coming to let y'all know I want you to trust me and think that I am changed the way I promise you that I am, and watch what I do and not go by what people say I did. That way you can make it, because people are looking for somebody right now that they can trust and be that will be honest with them, because there's so much lying going on everywhere, and people are hurting right now in this country on both sides, white and black.
And there are not any leaders, I noticed. Like a lot of young people, they don't want to be involved in politics, which, I mean, can you really blame them?
Well, because see, you got the hate group that came up, and you know, the NWA that came up and taught people to be anti-system. And all of those people from NWA wind up rich guys in the entertainment industry that's making a lot of money. Ice Cube, Ice-T, all them boys, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, but you see what Ice Cube is doing now. He's letting everybody know some dark days looming ahead, and he got into the politics of things as well. And he's letting people know. And the cornerstone, like you said, the cornerstone is. I just want to say this: the cornerstone is so valuable, but what they use as the cornerstone against one person, they don't use it against another person. Let me give you an example.
Absolutely.
They say, I was a gangbanger, right?
Yeah.
Well, hell, you was the police. You in the biggest gang in the world, right?
Right.
All right. Then you got all these groups, Islamic groups and all these other groups, which is a facet of a gang, because it's all for pertaining on the same thing. You have different beliefs on what you believe, and what if they don't believe what you believe, then they're not the people and things of that nature. Then another thing we're not looking at, if you look at it in the city of Chicago, we had the 4 most powerful black women in the seats. Yes. And they were saying they was going to do whatever they needed to do in order to dismantle that. That's Prepwinkle, Lorie, what's the state's attorney name? Kim Fox. And what's the other one name? What's the other one?
I know the girl.
Julie Stratton, right? I think that's right. So they're for power. That's power. That's too much power. And so they saying we're gonna break this up. We're gonna break it up, and we don't care how it goes. They cannot have that much power. Now, the only person in that seat that is straight in their seat is Tony Prepwinkle. Everybody else got a fight on their hands. And if Lorie can pull off that casino, then she'll be in. But I don't even think that Kim Fox running again.
She couldn't run, and Lightfoot is done as well.
So see what I'm saying? So now they're not even running. So
but
now
that's your opinion. That's your opinion that she's done.
Well, this is all
And
of our opinion.
Don't count her out.
No, it's not.
No. But
Don't
it's,
count. Do
that's
never
her
count
opinion.
her out.
Katie Lowe, that's her
Wait a
opinion.
minute.
I think
Let me
she's
say this.
done.
Let
Personally.
me say this. That is your opinion. They counted Obama out, and he won. That is just your opinion.
They're both done.
Do not count her out. They counted Obama out. That's your opinion.
Well, you know,
But
Yeah,
first of all,
but
first
they're
of all-
both hardly an Obama.
no, first of all, I'm not going to get into a political argument
The name
about
of this show,
Lorie,
everybody,
done.
is
because
the name of this
I'm not
show,
gonna
everybody,
entertain
is
it.
opinions. We
You
do
know, this
not
close
have
to
any
the-
facts.
No, we don't. That's just her
We
opinion. That's
do
what I'm
not
saying.
have any facts.
Right.
These are
No,
opinions.
Lorie, Katie Lowe, I was saying that was Lorie's opinion.
Right.
If that's what she said,
Right.
that's her opinion.
Right.
So that I have her opinion now. That's her opinion.
Okay, well,
That she thinks that they're done.
Well, the show
I
opinion.
think my opinion was I think that they targeted them and they went at that fashion to do that. That's just my opinion. Because it's not a fact. I don't have a fact. Your
Well-
opinion is your opinion and the professor is his. You know,
Right.
but I just think that's how I was looking at it. When I was looking at the overall play, I was like, wow, what's going on here? And so when I
Well,
seen
you're
all that,
absolutely correct. If they can kick the foundational part of the structure out, you know, so many years, and I know that you all think I go back in history all the time and but I try to tie everything up in one neat little package because
Right.
I don't want to ever get too far away from actually what the real underlying cause happens to be. The underlying cause is the thing that they call dialectical materialism of the people over here in this country that none of the four of us have anything to do with. Now we might be victims or victimized by it, but we're not products of it, and we don't support it because it takes advantage of the weak people and uses them in whatever manner from the birth to the grave, charging them every dime you can get out of them and trying to make it flow to the rich. And I don't think any one of the four of us agree with that. So let's move on. So when it comes down
we don't
to
agree with that.
Right. But when are we going to
the
get out of
market
being victims, though? That's my only thing, is that I don't have a problem with looking back because obviously to understand where you are now, you have to understand what happened in the past. But we have to get to the point where, you know, okay, we already know what happened. You know, stop making ourselves victims. We have to do something. Like, what do we? And that's the point of contention that I have with, you know, with Lorie Lightfoot, with Kim Fox. I mean, what have they really done to improve the city? The city has it's gotten worse since they've been in office. I mean, not to say
all the cities in America have gotten worse now.
Well,
all the cities. Some friends of mine from Memphis were telling me the other day that the reason Nashville is bigger than Memphis now is because hell, all the people are moving out of Memphis because of the crime wave in Memphis. People killing each other on all the streets up there that we used to go up and down the streets and pick people up and help the homeless and stuff up there with our churches, whatever. Now the preachers up there are scared to go out on the street and do street preaching. People are scared to go on Beale Street and play outside anymore. And so it's crime all over this country. And so we can't very well, what I'm trying not to do is point, even though we're talking about Chicago, I'm trying not to take Chicago and make it the big villain in the whole picture when it's happening everywhere. It's happening in Seattle. It's happening in Houston. It's happening in Dallas.
But I'm not saying we're vilifying it. I'm just saying, what are we going to do to fix it? That's really my
okay.
The point.
Well, we got to do to fix it. We got to fix the home first. We got to fix
what are we
the
gonna
families
do?
in the home. We got to fix the home. We got to fix people at the house so they can start checking their children before they send them out there and let the police have to correct them. Even if it takes me going over, grabbing my son and holding him down on the floor until he hears my voice, I'd rather do that and choke him myself Then just watch the police put their knee on his neck.
Okay, but 11-year-olds have guns now. How do you fight that?
Then 11-year-olds need to get checked because
Yeah,
they
but
got
they have a
parents
gun and they're
somewhere.
gonna
too.
shoot.
And wait a minute, it's not the politicians' fault that 11-year-old, that the 11. You know what? This is the problem. This is the problem. We want to say the politicians is the problem. That these children are out here with these guns, robbing and shoot. Hold the damn parents accountable. Because
Right.
they didn't make, wait a minute, they didn't make these babies.
Right. But how do you hold them
Hold
accountable?
the parents
You have to have
accountable.
laws. That's where the politicians come in. They need to be writing.
It's not Lori
They need to be writing
It's not
appropriate
Kim
legislation.
No,
problem.
no,
You
no,
go
look,
get those
Lori.
damn
But
parents
she
and
has.
hold them accountable
Okay,
and
but
lock them up.
you have to have
Well,
some
no,
structure to
no,
hold them accountable.
I hold the people in the
We
communities,
have some laws.
the men in the
Right.
communities accountable as well. Because when we stop
I
letting people,
bet you when you was growing up, you didn't have no gun and you wasn't out there shooting nobody because your mama, because Mr. and Mrs. Williams didn't play that.
Okay, but we're in a whole different age now.
No,
guns
I'm
and
saying
No,
your
we're not.
parents didn't play that.
So-
No, your parents didn't
no,
play
we're
that.
not. We just
And if you
we
had
would have.
children, Lori, you wouldn't play
Lorie
that.
said we're the oldest age now.
But
I
here's
no.
here's the
If
but here's
you
the
had
thing though,
children, you
Okay.
wouldn't play that either.
Katie. That's I
But
agree
you
with
know,
back in
the
the day.
parents do what they can do, and we go out
So
because
the
I had
parents
some good.
today are trying to be friends with their
Well, I
children
understand that. I'm with
instead
that,
of being
but
parents.
to say because a lot of people throw the blame on the parents, but what happens is the parents are good parents. They don't know what
No,
their
they
kids
not.
do once
No,
they
they
go out the
not.
door.
No, they not. Quit lying. No, they not.
No,
I'm not
I'm
gonna sit
saying
up here and lie and say the parents are good parents. They don't even know
no.
what
That's
these
what I'm
children
saying.
are.
We're not because
Don't
you can't
care.
say all of them are bad either. You
I'm
don't.
not saying
Okay,
that.
if I have good intentions for my child and I put down laws and principles, but once he or she goes out that door, I don't know what they're doing. So
Well, let
that
me
doesn't
tell
make me
you.
a bad parent because
Let me
I
tell
might
you.
instill a lot of
If
stuff.
you got a 10-year-old and he's up on Cicero and you don't know that he's up there, then you are a bad parent.
No,
And I said
not
it. My
necessarily.
name
What
is
if I'm at
Katie
work?
Lowe and I said it.
What if I'm
If
at
you
work?
got a 10-year-old, if you got a 10-year-old and he's up on Cicero in Jackson, and you
But
don't
see,
know
that's
that
what.
he's up there, you're a bad parent.
No,
And
I
I
could
said,
be at work, but that's what Professor talking about, the family structure. Because remember, the
there's something
community
wrong
was
with
our
it.
family. So if you knew my son was on Cicero, then why didn't Katie Lowe go up there and get my son off of Cicero? Because there was a
Because
time
Katie
when
Lowe
we
would
were
have went
able to
and
do
got
that.
it.
And what Lorie is saying today is you can't do that anymore. Them boys got AK-47s and
Exactly.
9mm and all that. So you can't.
And what did I just say?
But no, I'm saying that it changed. Everything has changed, and that's all I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
not the same no
Well,
more as
It's
it
a
once was.
parenting problem.
no, from a
It's a
teacher's
parenting
perspective.
problem.
But
Okay,
here's
but
the thing,
the
Katie. I
parenting
don't think
problem,
it's just
it's
not just a
it's got
singular.
two sides.
Y'all don't want to hold these
But
parents
there's
accountable.
not
That's
just
the
no,
problem.
and I'm not saying that.
Y'all make all kind of excuses.
Right. Listen to
No,
what
we
I'm
Okay,
not,
hold
Katie
on.
Lowe.
let me
No,
say
no.
what I need to say. What I'm trying to say is this. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is that it's more than one thing. So yes, there's a parenting problem, but there's also a societal problem. There's also a legal problem. We don't have anything in place legally to have a framework so that these kids, so that they can be held accountable and the parents can be held accountable. So let's say they are bad parents. What are they going to put in place? Should the parents be required to do some sort of public service or to be part of a program with their child? I mean, we need a multi-pronged solution. It's not just going to be one thing and have it go away, because we have a lot of problems in society that need to
And the government took all the rights away from the parents to whoop their kids and discipline them.
Absolutely.
So that's politics right there.
Yep.
Okay, let's see the hope. That's what I was getting ready to get at. Because see, the underlying problem that you're looking at is the the fact that if you have a systemic emasculation program that's been going on in the country ever since 1619, then how the hell are you going to come back after 400 years of it happening and undo it in 4-year terms with people who are going in the office at the mercy of the people who instituted the damn program? Jim Crow didn't start yesterday. And so, and parents have to be responsible, not just in our homes, but in our communities, across the community. And these mamas got to stop going up here talking about how nice their kids are when they don't know that this kid out raising holy hell and keeping up shit and got a pocket full of guns and out selling dope and doing all that. But he's the nicest kid in the world because he don't do nothing and he's getting ready to go to school and he at home studying. But he up on house bed at 4 o'clock in the morning at 11 years old. So, no. So, yeah, it's a lot of different sides to everything.
Yeah.
Underlying that whole thing is the government, Raymond. You are absolutely correct. The government make more money off of jails than they do off of school.
Yep.
It's a business.
Yep.
And so when it comes down to imprisoning people, and so they don't have any solution in the government for making jobs. So if they train every one of these young men how to be responsible citizens, just the young men, to be responsible citizens and skilled craftsmen and all those things, they would not have the jobs that should be out there to pay them when they come out of school and get ready for the jobs. So that's what's going on with that. That happens in all of sports programs and everything else. So there are a number. There's a myriad of different issues that we have to address, and we have to do them in such order that they know that we have come together from this 4 of us and said, okay, this is what we need to fix, and these are the ways we're gonna fix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's not what's happening. So we're not waiting around, and those leaders that we're waiting on, they're nowhere to be found because they're either paid off or already scared off.
There you go.
We don't have any leaders in our communities, and a lot of the young people, they don't want to be leaders. So
I mean, what do
you do?
Be a leader? I mean, name a leader that we want to be like now? Out of the 4 of us.
Okay, listen, we're gonna have to continue this show. Listen, this has been a great, this has been a good show. This has been a good conversation.
Lorie.
And I love it. I love this energy. So you know what? We're gonna have to come back next week.
Lorie ain't gonna be. You gonna be back?
Yeah, I'll be in Ghana.
Oh, well, Lorie will be in Ghana, but we're gonna have to come back and finish this up because
can you do it in Ghana?
They got.
I'm leaving on Thursday.
I said, can you do it over there?
No, yeah.
Oh, you know what? They're 5 hours. Is it behind or ahead? 5 hours.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we gotta get off of here. It's our hours up. Okay, but this has been a
but actually, no. You know what? I might be able to do it though because let me see. At 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It'll be midnight. You know what?
I'll send you a link.
Send me the link.
Yeah, you can do it. Look, if I can sit at home and play music up here.
You can do this from anywhere.
Yeah, I might be able to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see that because that'll be good. We need to part 2, Kayla, on this here.
Now I may not be on for a whole hour, but I could do maybe like 30 minutes or something. So yeah, let's
we'll be back. We'll be back next Monday. I thank everybody for tuning in to Opinions because listen, we are 4 different people with 4 different opinions. Okay, so we will see you next week right here on Opinions. Listen, until then, I think it's tomorrow, election day.
Tomorrow's election day. Get out there and vote, everybody.
Yep.
That's right. Make sure you
Professor
get out there.
It's your right.
Make sure you get out there and cast your vote. Okay?
Yeah, I've already voted.
Until then, we're gonna all say what? Is that good night?
Good night. Peace.
Check your cornerstone.
Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Get
All
out
right.
and
Good
vote.
night, everybody. It's been a splice. All right. So we'll see you back next Monday, right here at 7 o'clock.
Amen.
It's
All
all
right.
good.
All
Good
right.
night.
All right.
Peace.
All right.